then they are becoming endangered. Uh, then then constructions and all that, that means thank you very much for the greetings, and let's continue with the class first. So construction activities, or if I say not only construction, we can say that human interference in their region. That means when human enters, when human activities are increased in their region, then they become endangered. That includes everything. That means construction can be there. There may be the possibility of hunting. There may be the possibility of the criminal activities like smuggling and all that. So that can lead to the endangered species. And you must have heard that for both plants and animals, some people, what they do, they just smuggle that particular thing from that forest or that area, and they just illegally it is being sent to other countries and all that. You must have heard about the sandalwood, the chandan. Okay, the sandalwood smuggling is done a lot by the criminals. Then you must have heard about that elephant's tusks. Elephant tusks are the very costly product which can be sold when they are uh, given to the different countries. You can, they, people can earn lot of money from that, because the tusk is uh, first of all, it is used widely for making ornaments. Widely, it is widely used for many of the medicines even. So that's why it is being smuggled, and it comes under the criminal activity. Okay, so like this, even the skin of the many of the animals like deer skin, because it is having a very soft fur. So that is how it is. The skin of a camel, skin of a cow, all these animals are becoming endangered because they are being humans are taking them as a product to be sold, and that they smuggle them unnecessarily, and to just to earn the money, and that's why they become endangered. You must have heard about all these things in the news or the newspaper. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So there are so many human interference, like for the products of the animal products, even the plant products. So if we classify for the plants, sandal, then the one which you eat, even this palm leaves, they are also being smuggled. You must not be knowing about this, but it is happening. Okay, sandal, this, then the thing about animals, if we say, many of the, because of animal skin or fur. Okay, the elephant tusks, then their horns, because buffaloes and cows of in the forest are having the big horns, and these horns are utilized for making so many things in the industry. So that is why these things. Then other, if you take even the skin of some beautiful birds. Okay, so birds are also being smuggled. Uh, sometimes skin, sometimes whole bird is being smuggled. So this is how the human interference can lead to the endangering the species. And I think I must have told you about the introduction of
New species.
new
Yes, ma'am, you have
species.
said.
Okay, so foreign species, if it is entering in the location, that can lead to the difficulty for the local species, and it can lead to the competition between the local and the foreign species. So that's why that can be the endangering them. And that's why we have to that government come in the picture, and they make sanctuaries, national park or biosphere reserves where they have so many rules, so many strict policies are there. But still, the thing is, the people who are involved in these particular things like sanctuaries or net, they are sometimes helping all these people, so who are the criminals, uh, because of they also need something, or with due respect of the fear, sometimes they also do this. So uh, this is how it is being done. And just hold on, I will show you the introduction of new species. One picture I will be showing you. Just hold on. Okay. So let's see. I think I must have you use the word succession. That when you read that the how the forests are formed, I must have told you that word succession to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember this?
Ma'am, once you have written this word in one sentence.
Yes, I must have told you, because succession is the thing that how the forest is formed, on the barren lands or something like that. I must have told you. So just see to it that how the succession comes to the picture. I will just focus on one picture over here. Okay. Can you see this? That how the forest is being formed?
Yes, ma'am.
This is in the pond I am showing. This can happen with the deserts also. This can happen with the other grasslands also. This can be done. The process is little bit different, but this is how the forest is being formed. That if this is a pond, slowly the soil will cover the layer of these a particular bottom of surface, and then the plants will start growing slowly, and later on the trees will come up, big trees will come up, and then slowly and steadily the forest will be developing over there. Can you see this? This is called succession. This is how the forests are formed. Okay, if you want to click then you can do that. Just for your reference, just you should know that what do you mean by succession. Okay, is it uh, is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So this is how the succession can be seen. Then you have let me, I don't know where the picture is gone. It was here only. Just hold on. Okay. I think I lost that picture somewhere. Just see this. Uh, when I use this introduction of new species, can you see this? Ecornia.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear to you? Just see this, that how this plant is covering this region, and just because of introduction of this particular plant, the local plant are dying because they have the competition with the sunlight, water, and nutrition. Okay, so this leads to the death of many of the organisms which are already present over there, and I think the picture is not right now with me, but I will show you later on when I will find it. But this is regarding the plants, and you can read this, that the uh, introduction of this African catfish, okay, for aquaculture purpose is posing a threat to our indigenous catfish in our rivers. So this is you can find it on the Google also. If you search for it, the catfish which are locally available for in our country, that is in our region, they are comparatively this much smaller only. Okay, but the catfish, African catfish, is so big that just like if you are holding a kid of 7 to 8 years old kid, the size of that much size of the catfish is being introduced. You just you can have the click the screenshot of this also, and you can just find it on the Google if you want to know how does it looks, African catfish. Okay, you can do this. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, dear.
Ma'am, here means ma'am introduction of new species. Ma'am, like one animal lives in a region, we put some another animal in that region. Ma'am, it can be that plants and animals together means ma'am there are plants and we bought some animals in that place.
Yeah, that can be the possibility. You are asking me that if the region is including only plants and you introduce new animals over there, am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine, I understood your question. But the thing is, what I am saying that if I talk about the particular region, suppose if this is the area, this is the forest or whatever you say, suppose our small field is there, and it has some particular type of trees, particular type of flowers and all that. Yeah, they will be growing happily over there. But suppose if you introduce new animals over there, and these animals will suddenly have start feeding on these trees, then it will be danger to these trees.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then that may be the possibility. So that is how the species become endangered. So have you understood what do you mean by endangered species?
Ma'am, then if in place of herbivorous, if some omnivorous types of animals were.
Yeah, you can have an experiment on that. I don't say that it will always be a negative one. Okay, you can always, for that, we have to just see what if we introduce this new thing and what is happening to that particular area. That you can just do and watch out and have the observations. We can't predict out the things. If we are talking about living organism, you cannot predict the result. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So that is how the species become endangered. And you must have heard about that in India. There are a lot of projects are ongoing, like Project Tiger, that is given in your book. Then protecting the Gir forest lions. You must have heard about the musk deers in the mountains, then panda, then because they live in bamboo forest, then many of the species of birds, the small birds. Okay, all of them are because they are endangered, they are being under the special project or special type of care must be taken for them. You must have heard about all these things in the news also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there are a lot of animals which are under the special project, and they are being just protected with the special type of group or community that means if Project Tiger, if we say it is in the Satpura jungles and all that, so their local peoples are involved to protect them, how to breed them, how to increase their population, everything is included for them. You must have seen on the Discovery channels and all that, that they take sometimes what they do, they take a mother tiger with them, and when she is delivering a small baby, the tiger baby, then they will take care of that baby for some weeks, They will provide them food, they will provide them milk, and until the mother become healthy. They will take care of both of them. Then they will take them to the jungles and release them in the open environment. Have you seen it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then why they are doing this? Because uh, uh, nowadays what happens that when the mother tiger is there in the forest, sometimes she get killed because she just die because of food unavailability. There may be the reason that environment is not suitable for her, and once the baby is delivered, there may be the possibility no food is there for her to eat. So how she will feed to the baby of the tiger? So that's why what they do, these associations, they just have an eye on the whole population of the tiger, and wherever they find that some particular tiger is ill, or if it is pregnant, then they will take care of that particular organism. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is how the endangered species are there. And these endangered species are maintained in one book, that is red data book. This book is followed, and this book is maintained in the whole world. That means this is the one book in which every country will write their endangered species names, if either for the plants or even for the animals also. Okay, so this book is a common book for each and every country. And what this book is being circulated in each and every country for writing the names of the endangered species of their particular region. So this book is maintained. Olden times it was a hard copy. Nowadays it's a online. You can enter, the forest authority enters the endangered one. They count the population in this book. Everything is given, that last year how many animals were there, now at present how many are there, why they are dying. If they are, suppose if they are dying, then what is the reason? Is it an environmental change? Is it something like human activities ongoing over there? So that is how they just keep an eye on the endangered species. And that is why the criminal activities are being exposed, that suddenly if the animals become less in number, then why, what is the reason? So at that time sometimes the criminals gets exposed just because of this. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Ma'am.
So this is how it is being done. Then let's say if we talk about another thing like, um, if this all these red data book, everything is there. If you want to see all these things, there it's a Google, it will be there and you can read it and find it. Okay, then you have how suppose if you want to protect the environment, if you want to conserve the particular region, then what you have to do is that first of all don't harm it. Whatever the natural for the conservation, if we say, of region, of any region, of any locality, if we say, then what you have to do is that first of all don't harm or don't exploit it too much. Don't harm or don't exploit, because humans have the tendency that I am doing this much only now, what does it, what it will be costing? Nothing. It will not be seen, it will be overlooked. That is what the human tendency is. Like the way when you go to the park, suppose, and if you sit on the grass, then people have the habit of picking just pinching that grass from the surface. uh, Even we all did it. Even I also do it sometimes. You must have done it. Have you?
Can you repeat again, ma'am?
That that means if you are going to the parks and all that, the parks, suppose whatever the parks nearby your house only, if you say, and if you go there, uh, and you just sit on the grass over there and just keep on pinching the grass, that is what
Yes,
all people do.
ma'am.
Okay.
In school ground we do.
Yes, in school ground, sometimes, suppose if you have a some
Ma'am,
activity in
annual
the,
sports program, ma'am.
yes, annual sports program is happening, or sometimes somebody is there, some guest lecture is there, and you are made to sit on the open ground. Then and you don't have any interest in that. Then that is all everything we are doing. We are just pinching the grass and all that. Um, all these things we are doing, and that is that activity is very negligible. That means nobody looks at it, nobody just say anything to you. But the thing is, that is how we are disturbing the small small things, and that leads to the big disturbance sometimes. Okay, because you are doing that same thing must be done by the whole students of the school. Then just imagine the picture of your school ground and what will happen. Okay, so that is why don't harm or don't exploit it too much. That so if you don't exploit, then there is no need for the conservation. Okay, so that is the thing. Then we have that. Suppose you must have seen that people when they are having the festivals, especially what they do is that they just uh, like dogs or cows are there, those who are living on the streets. The people, what they do, they just tie up the crackers on their tail. Sometimes they just paint them. If it is holy and all that, they just paint the animals with the colors, and that is when you are doing that, that is harming that particular animal or a particular plant or some anything. If you are doing that thing, it is not good for the environment. So don't do that. If somebody is doing, ask them not to do. But the people don't understand. For fun, in the just mood, they do all these things. You must have seen during Holi or Diwali. Have you seen this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
I mean, holy, ma'am.
yes, Holi, what they are doing, they are just coloring the cows also. They will just play the Holi with them. They will paint them. There is no need of doing. They are not your friends. Okay, they are just the animals living nearby you, and because they get so much scared, so that and due to that, sometimes they become violent or sometimes they become sick. Understand?
Yes.
And
Yes,
basically,
ma'am.
for the cows, if you have seen that, you must have heard that each and every part of cow is very useful for the environment and for us. That even the skin, even the, if we say about the um, beef, if we say about the teeth, tail, horns, anything, the cow is the one which is being utilized for each and every part. And it is very tragic that you must have seen that sometimes small babies of the cows, calves, what we make them to say is calves. These calves are taken to the slaughterhouse or to the places like for the smuggling and all that. what they do is, because the baby cow is having a very delicate skin, and that skin is is like having a some, for rich people it is like having a royalty. They make the purses from their shoes, purse, and wallets. All these are made from their skin. So what the these uh, criminals do, that they just remove the skin of these baby cows and just make them to die like that only. So that is what the very tragic thing is happening with the cow. That is why it's not only about the beef, it is not only about eating them, it is not that. But when you do something very much cruel to the animals, that is not good. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is what is the thing we say. So don't harm or don't exploit. Another thing is, uh, if we say, that is the reforestation. Right? Reforestation means, uh, try, if suppose, because deforestation, you have heard that extensive cutting of trees, uh, when you cut the large number of trees suddenly, that leads to deforestation. So what we can do is reforest that area. That means, uh, whatever the natural population, suppose if you have a forest of a banyan tree, okay, and many of the banyan trees are being slaughtered, cut it down. So what you can do is plant the new banyan tree over there. Don't plant some like palm tree or something like that. Okay, that is not good. Reforestation means you have to plant the same trees what you have lost. So that is called reforestation. And actually, naturally, what happens that if the forest area is being disturbed and you leave it undisturbed for 5 to 6 years, then you can see that naturally the new trees will be growing over there. You don't have to do anything. But humans are not that much, don't have that much patience. So what they do, they just keep on interfering over there. So that is why, if they are interfering, what they have to do, if they really want to reforest, then they have to plant the same type of species what they had previously. Is it called, it is understood by you, the reforestation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes, dear.
ma'am, is there any difference between afforestation and reforestation?
Can you give me the spelling of the word you are asking me? I can't hear you properly.
Ma'am, afforestation and deforestation.
Afforestation.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
And
and
reforestation.
Ma'am, that
re,
you have written. Yes, ma'am.
reforest.
Reforestation, yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Afforestation, reforestation. I have already explained you. You must have understood that. What do you mean by reforestation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that means planting
Yes,
a.
ma'am.
Okay, so planting the same type of population of the trees. That is called uh, reforestation. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And afforestation means, that means, if the suppose the land is barren, there previously there were no trees, no plantation was there, and suppose if a group of people like social worker or somebody decides that let's convert this particular area into a forest. So you will plan to have, you will select some of the uh, type of plants, and you will just plant over them, take care of them till they get fully matured and they are completely independent of themselves. So that is what the afforestation means. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
That means you are converting a barren land into forest. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
That is what the afforestation means. Anything else? So you have three words with this, that afforestation, reforestation, and deforestation. Okay, so deforestation means you are converting opposite of this, forest to barren land. Understood?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is how the these words can. Then you must have heard about formation of dams on the rivers and all that. Okay, so formation of dam is also not naturally. It is not a good thing. Do you know that naturally it disturbs a lot of ecological species? But the thing is, the requirement for the human is much more. We need electricity. We need water at the time of summers when it is not raining. So we have to make the water reservoirs and all that. We need electricity from that dam. Also, hydroelectric power plants are running through it. So definitely, creating a dam over the river is not a good idea for the natural ecological purpose. But nowadays, if you read about them, there are dams which are being designed. These dams are being designed so that they can conserve the environment. That is, natural things should not be lost from that area. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so anything you if you suppose the ponds in your city, you have so many ponds or lakes in your city. If you say that these lakes basically they are having the very raw boundaries with them, they have so many wild plants growing on their boundaries sometimes. But if you construct them and give a good type of picture, if you just design them for the tourism, then what will happen? You are destroying all these wildly going plants, and that leads to the loss of natural habitat. But the thing is, it is sometimes required for the development purpose. It is sometimes required for the need of that particular area. That can be done. But if you hear about the word architecture, have you heard about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Then they have, in architecture, they have one landscaping. If you have not heard this, landscaping architecture is there. These architects, what they do, they just plan the type of plants which should be grown in that area. Suppose if the garden is being created in your city, then which type of plant and how they will be growing, that type of architects are called landscape architectures. You have a good future in that if you are interested in future. If you are having
Ma'am,
a
can you repeat?
landscaping architecture.
Ma'am, can you tell that one that what you have done in the pond when wild plants grew?
That means you are constructing, you must have seen in that big cities around the lakes or around the ponds. What they do is they create sitting arrangements are done, they create a very big food stalls are being there, or jogging track is being constructed. Have you seen that?
No, ma'am.
No, especially this happens in the cities, big cities. It is happening because people don't have the natural places over there much more. So what
Yes,
they do,
ma'am, seen.
see, especially the jogging tracks are being created over there. Then in one region you have a food stalls and all that. and you have a sitting near the pond so that people can sit and have their time over there. So that is how the ponds are being designed nowadays. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
what happens that when you are constructing something man-made, then definitely it will harm the natural species growing over there. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
for that you have one landscape architecture architects, though those people will just decide that how you can construct the things without disturbing these plants, and how you can if you are disturbing them, then what you have to do just to replant them or to shift them from one place to another. So that is what is the landscaping architecture is. You have a good future in that if you are interested, and if you are a little bit creative, and you are very much curious to know about the plants and all that, then you have a good future in that. You can have this as your career option. Okay, so this is also there. So that is how the environment can be balanced. See, without disturbing, you can't create something. So disturbance is necessary. There will be the possibility that you without 0% disturbance and new construction is not possible. Definitely something is going to disturb when you are constructing a new thing. But uh, we people, as we are educated, we should know that we should be aware that when you're constructing the things, then we should try to minimize that distance. We should try that what we can do, how we can plan the things that so that the environment should not be disturbed enough. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
what for the endangered for this chapter. And if you have any doubts, do ask me for that.
Ma'am, uprooting the weeds is also causing harm.
When you are uprooting the grass,
And weeds.
Ma'am, weeds.
weeds. No. Weeds. See, uh, the things. Weeds are the plants. That means uh, in your garden, suppose if you are having a good plantation and weeds are growing with them, okay, then uprooting the weeds is not the problem. But in the forest, nothing is the weed. Do you understand? In the open environment, in the natural environment, if you go in the forest, uh, nothing is no none of the plant is considered as a weed. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's a natural environment, anything can grow over there, all have the equal uh, uh, means equal possibilities of for their growth. Okay, so none of the plant is considered as a weed in the forest. Weed is decided, suppose if you have a garden and you have a prescribed type of plantation in that, then the unwanted plants are the that is called weeds. They you should uproot them so that they should not hinder the growth of your plants. And weeds are especially the unwanted plants where the agriculture is going on. Suppose if you have a field and you have decided to grow rice, and along with rice, suppose pulses are also started to grow, or some other vegetable is starting their growth over there, then that particular plant is called weed for them, because that is not wanted, that is not required, so you have to uproot them. Uprooting weeds is not a crime, you can do that.
Ma'am, can you once again explain how the dams used to conserve environment?
Repeat.
Ma'am, can you once again explain how the dams used to conserve the environment?
Dams. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, construction of dam is something which is interfering the natural environment. Suppose if I talk about river, okay, and I have to construct a dam at this place. You must have seen the size of dam. It's too big, okay, and it's huge. So what you have to do is you have to first of all make bridge like structures for constructing a dam. You know that if have you visited a dam ever?
Yes, ma'am. Panchet Dam.
Yes, ma'am.
You have visited, and you must have seen that you even can move inside the dam. Have you done that?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. If you have not done that, then when the everything is normal, then if you just visit the dam nearby your place, it's a good experience. So what is happening basically that when you are having a river, a water body, and you have to create a dam over that place, then you can see the width of the dam. At that particular width, that means wherever the whole physical structure is standing, that is constructed by cement, sand, stones, and many of the chemicals are included in that when this type of structures are being created. So what you have to do is uh, to make this bridge stand over the river, you should have big pillars also. You should have big pillars on that these dams are standing. Am I right? So these pillars are uh, beneath the surface of river. Okay, that means this is the suppose this is the surface of river. They will go down to up to 15 to 20 feet or meters, something like that. I don't know the exact height, depth of it, but it will go very down in the river. And when it is going inside, definite this cement and sand is going inside, the natural environment in the river is getting disturbed.
Yes, ma'am.
This is what is happening when you are interfering. Previously what it was there, the river was flowing naturally, but now you are creating one big construction over there, and that can lead to the disturbance in the environment. But nowadays the these people, architect peoples, are what they are doing is they are utilizing some uh, natural products, okay, or some type of design they are making, that it should not disturb the natural habitat of the plants, because the plants which are growing along with the river, they should not be disturbed, they should not be uprooted, or they should not be cut down from there. Okay, so they are planning that design like that only so that the environment can be conserved. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, and not for even the plants, even for the fishes, the fishes which were already present in that river, they should not uh, uh, they should not be like that they are dying just because the water is not flowing the way it should be, that they have started to die, and something like that should not happen. So that's why they have some passages for the water through which the flow of water can be continued naturally, and through which the fishes and all those animals which are living inside that can live freely. Got it?
Ma'am.
Yes, dear.
Ma'am, in the dam, ma'am, how, ma'am, the dam is constructed, ma'am, then, ma'am, the cement. Can you explain it again?
See, Vita, what happens that when you have such a big construction, have you seen that how the house is constructed?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen? then what you have to do, you, on the ground, first you have to dig the ground, then you have to establish the base inside the ground, then only the structure above the ground can stand. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So in
Ma'am, but
river,
there is flow of water. No, ma'am. How they will construct, ma'am?
that is what the technology is. Okay, that is what you can, not only on the rivers, if you see Mumbai and all that, they have the bridges over the sea, on the sea water. Have you seen it? A big sea link is there.
Yes, ma'am.
In television you must have seen that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and India is doing it right now, but the other foreign countries have did this 100 years before than us. So that is what the technology is, that is like that, that we have to plan with the flow of water, with the wind, everything, because flow of wind also is a very much big factor for that particular area if the bridge is there. Okay, so everything has to be calculated for each and every season, then only the construction can be done. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then anything else? Just I just want you to because uh, if you have a good area nearby your house, if it is a open land, or if it's a place where nobody is utilizing it much, then do one thing, that you don't have to be a very much activist like, or revolt anything. Just do one thing, that on your birthday, just plant one tree over there. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
fine. On your birthday, you can plant a tree, a good like neem tree, or some if, whatever you like. If you like the flowering trees, you can select on your own. The big trees with like gulmohar and all that, you can bring a small sapling and do that on your birthday. It's a good activity. You should do it. Then you can say that when you grow old, and when you grow as a big man or a woman, then after that, then you will say, this tree is growing with me. This is tree is these many years old, and I am these many years old. You can say that, so it will grow along with you. So that thing you can do, and you can contribute to the environment for that. Am I right?
Ma'am, don't have any place, ma'am, here, ma'am. Every place is utilized.
Okay, fine. So, no worries if the place is not there. Find some temple, or find some the mm, like open parks, at your friend's place or somewhere else, where you can just take care of that plant till it grows into a little bit bigger one. Understood? So that you can do. It's not a compulsory thing, but you, that is how you can contribute to the environment. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. Anything to be asked else? Any queries?
No, ma'am.
No? Fine. So this ends the chapter over here. Okay. And there, if you go for the endangered species and all that, there are many of them you can find on the internet. Okay, and that part I showed to you, that one, that catfish one, you just have a look on the net. You can see the difference in the size of the fishes. You can do that, and do complete the exercise of your textbook, and read the chapter thoroughly. If you have doubts, do ask me in the next class.
Ma'am,
Yes, dear.
Ma'am, cell membrane is living or non-living?
Living.
Okay.
Cell wall is non-living. Cell membrane or cell membrane can be called as plasma membrane also, and it is living.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Anything else?
Ma'am, but in our book it's written that protoplasm is the living component of the cell and protoplasm only includes nucleus and cytoplasm.
Dear, protoplasm is something very different. You asked me cell membrane. Okay. Cell membrane, I use the word for it is plasma membrane.
Yes, ma'am. Another name of cell membrane, ma'am,
a
we have
plasma.
learned.
Plasma membrane. And protoplasm is very different thing. See, if you draw the diagram for the cell, suppose standard cell I am drawing. You have a cell wall.
Yes, ma'am.
Then another layer you are having is the plasma membrane.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then after plasma membrane, you have a fluid inside the cell. Okay. You have a fluid
Yes,
inside the cell, and you have a nucleus. You have a nucleus. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
And then
ma'am.
you have so many cellular bodies, that means other organelles in it. Golgi body, then mitochondria, all these things must be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now read the protoplasm. What is written?
Ma'am, in our book it's written that protoplasm is the living component of the cell and protoplasm only includes nucleus and cytoplasm.
Okay, fine. Now see, what is the difference between cytoplasm? What is the difference between protoplasm? See, if I remove all these cellular bodies from it, if I remove all these mitochondria, if I remove Golgi body, if I remove endoplasmic reticulum, if I remove nucleus, everything is being removed. Only fluid is there. Then that fluid is called cytoplasm. Is it clear to
Yes,
you?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
when
ma'am.
this fluid is having all these components with nucleus, then that fluid is called protoplasm. Now it is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And plasma membrane or cell membrane is the second layer. Cell wall is the outer layer. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
So don't get confused with cell membrane, cytoplasm, or protoplasm. Everything is different.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, the jaundice, ma'am, it is caused by virus, bacteria, or algae or fungi.
Sorry,
Ma'am,
jaundice.
Yes, ma'am.
What you are asking me?
Ma'am, it is caused by bacteria, virus. Ma'am, by which microorganism it is caused?
Again, repeat, beta. I can't hear you. Jaundice
Ma'am, she
is
is asking that jaundice is caused by which microorganism?
caused by which microorganism? It is by virus, beta. Hepatitis virus. Have you heard about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Ask me again. Anything else? Hepatitis is nothing but the
No, ma'am.
jaundice. Okay, it's an advanced version of jaundice. It is caused by virus, hepatitis virus.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine. And the boy who was asking, you got the name of the mushroom, dear?
Ma'am, Amanita.
Yes, Amanita, you got. And somebody who one was telling on that day, I think the class suddenly got disconnected, that already this name was given by your teacher. Am I right? Somebody said that at the end.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you want another name also?
Yes, ma'am. Please give another name also.
You
Ma'am, I have not
uh,
told but any other boys. And please again, ma'am, give the name.
you can have the many species of agaricus, Peter. Agaricus species are there which can be poisonous. Fine. But the thing is, the most poisonous one is Amanita. Okay. Fine.
Ma'am, agaricus can be
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, agaricus. Some of the species of the agaricus are poisonous. Not all agaricus are not poisonous. I don't know the name of the species right now, but the agaricus. I think on the first day only I gave you this name, agaricus.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So some of the species can be the poisonous for agaricus. Fine. So I think we have done with this chapter, and I think only now the reaching to adolescence, that chapter is only remaining for
Yes, ma'am.
biology.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are all done for the exams in this month, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So just read
The
the
full book
chapter.
is only completed.
Okay, fine. That's a good thing. Okay, so we have only one chapter, that is reaching to the adolescence. We will be beginning with that in the next class. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am. Bye,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
bye,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, happy teachers.
Thank you. Thank you
Happy
so
Teachers
much.
Day, ma'am.
Happy Teachers Day,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot,
ma'am.
dear.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Right.